beer. This is a kombucha.
Should be.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the June 12th meeting of the Board of Health and call this meeting to order. It is 6:01 p.m. And Michelle is not with us this evening. She just had surgery on her, so she will be back with us later. But we'll begin with open forum. I'm not seeing.
We have 5 attendees.
Okay.
And I don't see anyone's hand raised
Okay.
for open forum or any questions listed.
All right. So if we don't have open forum, we'll move to the approval of the minutes, but we only just got the minutes from the May 8th meeting, and not all of us have had a chance to review those.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
we need to roll call in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Stephanie Granger present.
Sue Hanley present.
Joanne
Present.
and Megan.
Present.
Okay. And again, Michelle is not present for this meeting. Thank you. Forgot about that. Okay. So we're on minutes. And since we haven't all had a chance to review those, shall we delay them till our next meeting?
I'll move to review the minutes at the next meeting.
Okay. Motion made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sue seconds that. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Stephanie, aye. Megan?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Joanne?
Aye.
So that passes unanimously. We will address those at our next meeting. And because we think there are probably a lot of people joining us potentially for our 6:15 agenda item and we are ahead, maybe we can take something out of order.
So Stephanie, I just wanted to mention, we did want to just let everyone know that when you click on the Zoom link, just in case anyone's having any issues getting into the meeting, when you click on the Zoom link, it will ask you to register. It's a town policy for all meetings, so you do need to register. You put your name, email address in, and it will bring up the telephone information if you want to call in. So if you're not able to get in through your computer, you can certainly call into the meeting as well. And I can put that information up real quick if you'd like me to. Let me just bring that up down here. And just share my screen. And can you see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens is when you register, you can automatically click in and join the meeting. Or below it does have some audio information if you'd like to call in by phone.
Although, can anybody see this if they're not already in the meeting?
You cannot, and it's not until you register this information comes up.
Right. Okay. So. Okay. So yes, should we take something out of order? Either.
Why don't you do the animal regulations?
Sure. Let's move.
Because we've looked at them so many times anyway. Yeah.
Okay. We can take the approval of the updated animal regulations.
And I can bring those up if you'd like.
Sure.
And just bear with me 1 minute. I think it's the last one. And can you see that?
It came up briefly, but now it's not.
Now it's gone. Okay. So. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were really just discussing the very end sections, right?
Yep, so what you have here is an updated animal regulations. We'll certainly put in updated regulations. We are proposing an implementation date of August, just because we do need to finish the application with all the updates. There are things that we have been asking here for. For instance, some examples are we asked for some additional information with setbacks and let me just pull it here. Here's the nuisance regulation. Excuse me, setbacks, and we also asked for some additional information when it came to sanitation. So we want to make sure that we include that in the application, and IT needs to do that for us. So we do need a little time. We want to make sure we get the information out to all the establishments. So August would give us a little over a month to get that information out. Right here, you'll see in Article 3 has been added. So we have the nuisance section regarding poultry. And so this would also coincide with Chapter 111 with nuisance complaints. And we did confirm with the town animal inspector, and she is very comfortable with the language. So this is exactly what you asked for at the last meeting.
That wording looks great.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah, were there any other comments or questions for Ray on this? My only question, oh, sorry, go ahead, Joanne.
Thank you, Ray.
Sure, no problem.
Can I-
I don't
Can I
see it.
just, what does that word say under severability? Repeater?
Repealer. this-
Repealer.
Yep, so this is a legal language that was in not only, I think it was 1964
Okay,
was the first, it was also repeated in 1972.
okay.
Yep.
Funny word.
And so
Any
my
longer.
question, yeah, Ray, was, you said you wanted to share it with people in town, but do they have, are there portions of this that they're not grandfathered on that they have to become up to date with, or how does that work?
No, so we want to just make sure, just to clarify, we want to make sure that we get the new requirements out to all our existing establishments. And right now we have 26 establishments. So give them an opportunity to look through the paperwork, also to ask any questions that they have. So that's why we're asking for August.
And that's so that if they want to make changes to their establishments, they understand.
No, so all existing establishments will meet the requirements, except for any new, if they make any changes, for instance, they bring on another animal or a new establishment, they would need to make sure that they meet all the new requirements, but all the existing are grandfathered in.
Okay, but you want to make sure they understand what we're changing it to so that they're familiar with what ideally would be.
Correct, correct. And certainly, you know, working with them as we go out, even for instance, say someone's grandfathered in because of maybe the lot size or setbacks, we'll certainly try to meet, you know, talk to them and educate them about what the new requirements are and why, and, you know, things like that. You know, we do have some existing places that could meet, for instance, the wetland setback. So that's something that we will continue to educate them on.
Okay, great. Are there any further comments on this? Does anybody want to make a motion to accept this?
I'll make a motion to accept the updated animal regulations.
Okay, the motion's made. Is there a second? I'll second the motion. So the motion's made and seconded. All in favor, Stephanie says aye. Megan?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Joanne?
Aye.
Wonderful. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Ray and Abby.
No, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we're still a little ahead, so maybe we can go ahead and discuss the Middlesex County 4-H request for their food permit fee reduction.
Certainly. So Middlesex, the 4-H fair at the Middlesex Community Fairgrounds have requested a variance again this year for a fee reduction of to 150. 150 is the price that we charge for a seasonal food permit. Typically, that would be for each building. When you go out to the fairgrounds, the buildings are open for 4-H events, things of that nature, but they're pretty close on the property. For our department, it would take us about a little under an hour and a half to do the inspections. And with re-inspections and including gas and time, we're still well under 150. So we're covering our costs here at the department. So, speaking with both the food inspector, health agent, and with Abby, our environmental director, she also has stated, we're fine with approving the variance tonight. I know Susan was going to be on. I don't know if she wanted to say anything or if you wanted to hear from her. Let me just double
No,
check. To make sure.
We've done this before, so
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any problem with it. I don't know about you guys.
Do you think that there is anything new she wanted to share with us? Because that's not on the agenda for a little bit, in case she comes in later on. Should we?
Should
I-
we?
I don't, speaking with Susan, she was going to be on this evening, but she just wanted to reiterate what she put in her letter that, due to COVID and, trying to recoup some costs out there, that they are again asking for the variance request.
Yep. Did she
So
just pop in?
Oh, is she here?
Let's double check. She wasn't there a moment ago.
I can't
You-
Oh,
see.
there
the
she's
slide.
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
okay.
popped in.
Okay.
Suzanne?
Hi, Suzanne. Welcome.
Good that she's there since it
She's-
wasn't until 6:40.
Mhm.
We took your request out of order and wondered if you just had anything you wanted to say. We're pretty
Oh, I'm
amenable.
sorry.
No, that's fine. We know we've done this before and understand, but if there was anything you particularly wanted to say to the board, we're happy to let you say that.
Oh, okay. No, I just want to say thank you for considering us. And we typically ask for the fee reduction because we are a nonprofit and don't have a ton of money coming in, and all the money that does come in goes back out to the kids and to fund, the fair and all of the food and entertainment we have for that. So we just always appreciate any little break that we can get.
Great. Thank you. Ray said
No,
that, the 150 would cover the department's costs. So,
Okay, so that would cover, because I think I put in for 5 different ones, so that would cover all 5 of those buildings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
We'll do the inspection all at once for all 5.
Yeah, great. Okay, is there anything else you would need from us on those then?
Not at this time. Nope. We'll take a
No?
food application for
Mm.
a seasonal application listing all 5 buildings.
Okay, wonderful.
thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Go ahead. We still have to vote.
Do we have to vote? Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's okay.
I'll make the motion to reduce for the food permit for the Middlesex County 4-H Fair for all 5 buildings to be at 150, a fee reduction to 150.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Megan seconds that. All in favor, Stephanie, aye. Megan,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Joanne?
Hi.
Okay, so that motion passes unanimously. Good luck with the fair.
Thank you so much. We're actually in the middle of a work night over here. So all the kids are here raking and stuff like that. So it's beginning. So I appreciate your time, and I really appreciate your vote on that.
Well, thank you for that. Have a good
Yeah.
evening.
Sure, you too. Bye, guys.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Suzanne.
Okay, so now I guess we can. What time is it? It is 6:16, so we can move to our 6:15 agenda item, which was a request for an external grease trap. Hold on. Whoops. Let me read that.
Variance, external
Yeah.
grease trap
A
variance. Yeah.
request for an external grease trap variance at the Village Store Restaurant at 8 West Prescott Street. The applicant is seeking a variance from 310.CMR 15.230.12 and 310 CMR 15.410.1 to allow for a variance under certain conditions. I'm going to ask Ray at this point to go ahead and talk to us a little bit about the legal things and the variance request here.
Sure. So tonight before you, we have the Village Store Restaurant is requesting, as you mentioned, a variance from 2 sections of Title V regulations. I just wanted the audience to know tonight that, you know, for our health department, anyone asking for a variance, we are purely, we want to see all restaurants open here in the community and certainly understand the community piece. For us, we are required to enforce regulations as such, for state, local, and federal. So tonight's variance request will be from the state requirements, which are Title V requirements for any establishment that is on a private septic system. So it's an internal grease trap is required under the plumbing code regulation here in Massachusetts.
And
an
external
grease trap is required under Title V requirements. The federal food code for 2017, which the Westford Health Department does enforce, requires an internal grease trap. So with that being said, I know we have quite a few people on. Jeff Hannaford is to speak. I just need a moment just to promote him. And let me just give me one moment here.
appreciate
Sure.
the
Yep,
documents that we received and
Sure. So I have Chris Newell, Jeff Hannaford, and Paul Alphin. Jeff, Paul, and Chris, are you able to hear us and talk?
I can hear you. Ray, yours is a little muted from the microphone, but I can hear everybody else clearly.
I can hear you as well.
That's Jeff, and this is Paul. Can you hear me?
yes, we hear all of you and good that you hear us. That's great.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Joanne,
Madam Chair, I'd appreciate it if they could put on the cameras.
yes, if possible, that would be great if you can. put your-
My camera's been on.
Okay, hold on.
Mine was on previously, but there's no on button on the screen, so you should be having me.
It may be is it a promoting thing?
Yep, just make sure I promote the panelists. Okay, you should be able to put their cameras on.
There we go.
There's
with
Paul.
We see you, Paul,
Great.
and Chris.
Little bit of a delay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it signs you out, then you have to sign back in, so there's a bit of a delay.
Ah, okay.
I
We'll
know
give
when I'm on the select board, and
minute
they
here
promote
then.
me to panelist, it takes a minute.
We're going to be presenting this as quickly as possible. We know your time is precious, and we're not going to reiterate everything that you've been reading. But I'd like Paul to just give a quick summary of the issues as we see them in a condensed way, and then Jeff will take over and explain the issues regarding the grease trap and the separations and so on. And we'll be available for Q&A after that and to expand on any important points that you want to ask about. And I have a few things that I want to mention, but they can wait till later.
All right, is Jeff, are you with us, Jeff, and just not able to get a camera on, or are you not there now?
He should be on.
Okay. Shall we go ahead with Paul, if Paul was going to speak first?
Yep. Thank you, but I want to make sure Jeff's connected.
Great. I don't know if either of you are able to.
Jeff, are you there?
We're checking with him
Okay.
via other means, and
While we're waiting, I will, state that we received at least a few letters in support of this, and We appreciate people sharing their thoughts and concerns in that way. And if we can get through this quickly, we'd love to, if there are people who also want to share a few words, we'll try and allow
I
some
hope you
time
get
for
that.
that at the
I
end.
hope you got that news article. I thought that would lighten your day a little bit.
I didn't see that.
At 25 years old.
I don't think. Maybe it was a really
I
old one.
sent it a couple of hours ago. It just arrived from Mickey Crocker's house.
Okay, I did not see that.
Mickey never lets up,
All right, so we still don't have Jeff?
He's
No.
on. It does say that he is allowed to speak and he is on as a panelist.
Oh,
Here he comes.
something's happening.
See his mic showing muted at the moment.
Jeff, can you hear us now? Jeff can hear Stephanie.
But not everybody else?
I don't know, but my suggestion is for him to go back out and come back in.
Yeah, that might be the best thing. Jeff, are you able to? Okay, there we go. He dropped out. So hopefully we'll give him a second here to log in and then we can get started.
Yeah, we just did a little test Zoom call earlier before your meeting and had a chat among the three of us, and we were live video and live audio, so we shouldn't have any problems.
That's good.
Yeah, Jeff's generally on quite a few meetings, the Board of Health throughout the year. So hopefully it'll work out.
Here he comes, hopefully. Are you there, Jeff?
Hello.
Okay.
We at least have your voice. Maybe we're not getting the video for some reason, but go ahead at least with
Jeff,
Paul.
can you hear us? You're muted,
He's
Jeff.
on. He is on. He's
Yeah, this is proving
There we
to
go.
There you go.
real.
Okay.
Now we're all there. Okay, excellent. All right, Paul, go ahead
All right.
and get us started.
For the record, my name is Paul Alf and I represent 8 West Prescott LLC. You're here for the variance request that was described in the at the top of the agenda item. In the materials you should have the official variance application form. You should have a letter dated June 4, 2023 from Chris Yule that describes some of the history of the restaurant, describes the goal going forward, and summarizes some of the results that they have had over time as regard to the grease trap. We've also submitted a pile of documents, historical documents that we're able to get from the town records, indicating that the restaurant has been around since probably 1974 or thereabouts. We submitted a report from Flannery Plumbing and Heating. I think one of the requests that the board made is to have a plumber take a look at the grease trap and make sure that the grease trap is operating properly. And his report says he's verified correct operation with a running water test, all baffles intact and solid. We also submitted some of the invoices that we were able to find from Grease Busters, the people that came out and cleaned out the grease trap from time to time. We have invoices from 2019, 2020, 2023, and they say grease trap very clean, no solids, no liquids, very watery, no grease in system. And then most importantly, there's a letter dated June 2nd, 2023 from Norse Design Services, Inc., where Jeff Hannaford gets into some of the detail regarding the nature of the regulation, the purpose of the variance request, why we meet the criteria, and he has also inspected the property and has some remarks regarding what is there and what could be there. And then he proposed some conditions of approval should the variance be granted. We want to discuss or clarify one of the conditions of approval when we get there. Number 4, we think there's some more appropriate wording for that, but Jeff might get into that. So if you all have those materials that I described, I'd like to pass the baton to Jeff so he can describe the contents of his letter.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, Jeff?
Thank you. Thank you for your patience and the connection. All that time spent in makeup, I hope I could get a chance to use it. As Paul mentioned, I had written a letter, and the thrust of my letter is about the variance request itself. As you may know, that any variance request from Title V has 2 parts. The first part is, for a variance request, you have to show a form of manifest injustice, which basically means, why can't you do what's being asked? So what I did was I went to the site, I took measurements, I took photos, and I prepared this sketch plan. The problem is, it starts with the fact that the kitchen is in the front of the building. That's where the sink is, and that's where the plumbing route that we have to identify starts. Starts at the sink, goes behind a wall into a mechanical room. The GT there stands for grease trap. That's where the internal grease trap is. In order to replumb, to put the grease trap on a separate line going out, they would have to cut open the concrete floor under the mechanical room and route the pipe over to that corner as shown, and then out to a potential grease trap that would then be piped into the existing septic tank. That's quite a longer route than the direct route that was just shown, that's going to the septic tank now. So the additional route that the pipe takes, the additional length, because that pipe has to have a certain slope or gradient to it, it's going down from the grease trap through that pipe to the new grease trap, and then it drops in elevation through the trap even more, and then drops a little bit in elevation in the pipe from the grease trap to the septic tank. By the time it makes that path, we are at the septic tank lower than the inlet to the tank itself. So the combination of that factor and the factor of the cutting open of a concrete floor is, well, it's virtually impossible with the elevation of the floor that would have to go under and the elevation of the existing septic tank that would have to meet. So that is, the intent of this plan is to show you our presentation of manifest injustice. It seems pretty clear cut to me. If you have any questions on that, I'd be happy to answer them. But if it were a situation where the sink was against the back, where the kitchen was where the mechanical room is, then it probably wouldn't be such a big deal. But unfortunately that, and as you may see in some of the photos that I sent, the mechanical room, that slab is lower than the outside grade. So what that means is we're trying to, we would need to raise things to get outside to meet that existing tank. The slab is already below grade, so it just makes the situation even worse. So, I tried to illustrate that. There's the sink. That wall, on the back side of that wall is the mechanical area. And that's the back side of the wall. That's the grease trap. As you can see, there's the furnace is in there. Behind the furnace is a hot water heater. There's a chimney right there for the flue of the furnace. So there's just so many different things to try to snake through there. Now that right there that shows you have to step up to get outside. And that's the point where we would have to come across through there with the pipe underneath the floor there to get out to the back. That's the back corner of the building. So it's to try to replumb, we probably have just about everything going against us if possible to try to make that happen. So I think that this is a site where manifest injustice is valid. So with that, the second part of a variance request is, having proven manifest injustice, what can we do to provide equal or superior environmental protection? Interestingly, when I looked up the section in Title V, it's section 15.230. And the title of that is Pre-Treatment Units - Grease Traps. So the thrust of this is that they've identified you need pre-treatment of grease when you have an on-site septic system. So when I looked at it, I said, well, what specifically are we asking for here? And we are not, we don't want to misconstrue the variance as saying we don't want to do any pre-treatment. We recognize pre-treatment's needed. So as I dug into that, item 1 under 230 simply says grease traps shall be provided for kitchen floors at restaurants, nursing homes, schools, etc., where grease can be expected to be discharged. You know, we comply with that because it doesn't say internal versus external. So I thought, we're okay there. And I just started working my way down. And when I got to item 12 under that section, that's where they say that grease removal by other devices located within the building as part of the internal plumbing are not within the jurisdiction of Title V, shall not be considered for compliance with section 230, but shall comply with the state plumbing code. So this is where they're basically saying, we want pre-treatment. You may have pre-treatment inside, but we want it outside also. So it kind of struck me as a little odd that they're saying pre-treatment, they're saying you might have it already inside, but that's the plumbing code. That's not Title V. So Title V says you have to have one external. So I picked item 12 because that's where it identifies the location. So it seems to me that the variance isn't about pre-treatment as much as it is where's the location of the pre-treatment. We've shown that getting it outside is difficult or impossible. So it's going to happen inside. So with the fact that we have an existing grease trap inside, then what else can we offer for pre-treatment? The history that I've been shown is that this grease trap has been maintained, and the reports given say that it's worked as intended. There's either been no grease or the grease, whatever's been removed, it's been cleaned, and there's never been an issue with it identified that it isn't functioning. So it's time tested, it's been functioning. Title V inspection reports on the system have not identified any issue with grease. I did remove all 3 covers at the site recently, one over the septic tank, one over the pump chamber, and one over the leaching pit. I didn't see any trace of grease. I saw a system that's functioning normally. So I was able to proved to myself that the Title V report was legitimate, everything's functioning. So what else can we offer? And so I put together a letter. At this point, since there is a grease trap, there's history of it functioning. I felt that offering up monitoring beyond the normal of what's there would be a reasonable condition, given the circumstances. Of course, if this were new construction, there were no building, no septic system, we had a clean sheet, so to speak, to start a design, we could make all things work. But right now we're painted into a corner, and what we're offering is to inspect that internal grease trap monthly. It is, and this is something where we're kind of mixing together Title V and the plumbing code. I don't know what the plumbing code says about inspecting grease traps internally, but I think because we need this variance from Title V, that it's appropriate for you to approve a condition that would require an inspection of the internal grease trap and those reports be sent to you. So we are offering that it gets inspected on a monthly basis, the reports to you on that, and that also a licensed grease remover come in quarterly, every 3 months, and empty any grease that's in there, clean it, and inspect it. That way, the pretreatment that's called for, that we're recognizing is in place, is being looked at on a much more often basis than may otherwise be required. And that way, if there's any issue, we can catch it early. We can identify what's going on. Is that grease trap all of a sudden, for whatever reason, malfunctioning? What's going on? We'll be able to see this in almost live time as to how it's functioning, and have a chance to protect the septic system and particularly the leaching of the septic system from any environmental problem. With that, we were also proposing to inspect the septic system on a semi-annual basis. Luckily, there are already cast iron covers to grade over the 3 important parts of the system, making it easy to do this. So semi-annually, a system inspector would go out and look at the system. I don't think we need a full-blown Title V inspection report with its 17 pages, but certainly somebody that's qualified to go out, open those covers, and just verify that we don't have an issue with grease getting into the system. So with that, it would be inspected semi-annually, and once a year on the annual inspection, the septic tank would also be pumped. So you'd get annual pumping of the tank as well. So I think at this point, that and recognizing in my letter, what I put was, as far as the internal grease trap, if there was something identified through the inspections, either the monthly or the quarterly cleaning by a licensed grease remover, that it was no longer functioning, that a new grease trap be installed that meets the current state plumbing code. And the 4th item I had that I've reworded, and I'm going to submit that to you. It was just talked about today. I haven't submitted it yet because I thought through our discussion tonight, if there were any other conditions that the board wanted considered, that I would do a final revision and submit that at the end of the meeting. But the 4th item was, if at any time the septic system went into failure and had to be upgraded, I had put that an external grease trap would be part of the design. But after discussion, the question came up on what regulations apply to septic repairs and upgrades. And there's actually a specific section in Title V, Section 400, which is maximum feasible compliance. And so I felt it was more appropriate to say that the system would be upgraded in accordance with that section, including the possibility of an external grease trap. That way, it's more appropriate to, rather than me making up something saying it will be done or that will be done, that it should reference the appropriate section of Title V, just like we are for this variance. So I've revised it for that. So very minor, but I think it just gives strength for all parties as to what would happen in the future.
Thank you, Jeff. Do you want to let Chris speak, and then if the board members have questions for anyone, we'll take those.
I only have a few points. I think my work. I think Abbott Mill, I would hope, speaks for itself at this point. And we are technical builders, and I would hope you would know in simple terms that if I could have built it, I would have built it long ago. And the only reason I'm here spending more money than it would have, I hope, cost to put the thing in, to ask for permission not to. I don't take this lightly at all. To me, septic tanks and septic systems are extremely important. It's the most important thing on the property. And I personally supervised the installation of the treatment plant for all of phase 1 and phase 2. And I talked to Bobby Lacombe on a regular basis about this and the other septic tanks. Bobby pumps 30 or 40,000 gallons a month for us. And Bobby and I know each other very well. And I've been down in most of those tanks myself personally. And I take all these requirements very seriously. It's not something you close the door and ignore it. Every time I go over there, I think about it. And I can promise you that that level of attention is one of the reasons why those grease traps perform so well. It's not an accident. It's because we pay very close attention and we don't screw it up. And Beaver will continue that. And I want that to be our legacy going forward, because it's important to the village. It's important to the watershed of the town wells, just a little ways down the road. And I mean, I used to be a town official in Hingham, where I grew up, enforcing water quality. So I'm not about to go making a mess of things here. So I think that's all. I just want to give you my personal assurance that we take this seriously, and not everybody does. So I think it's worth mentioning. And it's great to be able to work with Jeff and Paul and Beaver to make sure that this is actually workable. So when I tell you it's going to work, I mean it. It'll work. You won't see us come running back whining about something. If there's an issue, we'll be glad to talk at any time. That's what we're here for.
Thank you. Did any board members have any questions for anyone? Joanne?
I have a bunch. Couple things. Floor drains. I was trying to look at the picture of the kitchen. Is there any floor drains? Jeff?
There is, I believe there's one in the mechanical room.
In what is that connected to?
That I don't know. I know it's not the septic system.
But there are no grease operations in there either, so we're not sure how it's connected. I'm not even sure it's functional. It may have been vestigial from an old system.
Okay. Well, only because with cleaning, and if it's in the mechanical room, it probably doesn't apply. I'm thinking more of the kitchen of the dining area, where could be things on the floor that, contain grease, that we just want to make sure that either are going through, the drain is going through the grease trap, or where is it going?
I can tell you that's a wood frame building on a crawl space, so there are no floor drains. Everything is mop it carefully and clean up, and don't dump it in the ground.
So it goes then, so anything that comes up off the floor then goes into the sink that goes through the grease trap.
Yes.
Okay. Again, it goes back to the plumbing code. And I was wondering if the town plumbing inspector has been brought in and weighed in on this at all, because I can't seem to find in the documents when this grease trap was installed. And so in terms of how old it is, under what code, how compliant it is to today.
Jeff Flannery looked at it and he said it complies. It is an older installation, but the entire building is older. So as codes have changed, it's not 100% up to code, but it's functioning properly and there's nothing that needs to be changed. And if we would go in there and make a major change to a portion of it, then that would need to be brought up to code, but it never rose to the level of the plumbing inspector because everything's functioning properly.
That was, he inspected that last month.
A plumber.
Yep.
But the plumbing inspector, the town official, has not.
I thought, yeah, I misunderstood. I thought you meant plumbing inspected, not inspector.
No, so the official from the town did not inspect this and has not given an opinion, correct?
No, quite honestly, I thought a plumber would have more applied knowledge of it, and he knows both the codes and proper operation of grease traps, so we were comfortable with that. The inspector might only know just the codes, and so we thought we'd get double coverage, but
I think the plumbing inspector for the town may have something to say about that. I think he knows plumbing and codes and is the enforcing person for the plumbing code.
I realize when I say that it stretches things a little bit, but I just have a respect for the practical knowledge of plumbers.
Okay, I would like to have the plumbing inspector weigh in, to be honest, as an official of the town. So we don't know when the grease trap was installed.
No, we don't.
Okay.
We know that it's the
What's
right
upstairs?
I'm sorry, what?
What is in the other levels of this building? Because this is on the ground floor.
2 apartments.
And are they connected to this septic system as well?
Yes.
Jeff, have you calculated out that flow? And that's okay for the existing septic system?
I haven't calculated, but I checked the records. The system was upgraded in 1990. I forget the exact year, but in the 90s. And the 2 dwelling units and a restaurant were taken into account at that time. So yes, the system that's existing met the requirements for the use at the time. And that hasn't changed.
Yeah, so it wouldn't probably now.
Well, it might,
Changed.
because some of our code has actually.
Yeah, it's like all systems, it's compliant as of the time it was installed.
Okay. All right. Did we get a menu?
Yes.
We have a menu. Do we know, comparing the menu that's proposed, how it compares to the menu from before? In other words, I'm getting at the level of grease that may or may not be produced
Peter should probably
with
talk
this
about the
new
menu, but
proposal.
I can only say categorically, there's no fry later, and that's the biggest driving force in these restaurants. And that's intentional as to there being no fry later. That's not an accident.
Well, that's good, because that's probably the biggest problem. Yeah. But otherwise, the menu is pretty much the same.
Yes.
Do you want to have Beaver answer that question, Chris?
I have a question. There's 6 beavers.
That's my question.
I don't know what, if some people have been using
Oh, his code to
logins, that's not acceptable. Log in on your own, so we know who's here. because unless he's been cloned 5 times, there's 6 beavers registered.
Yeah, the only problem is I don't know which one to promote.
That's what I'm saying. If you're not Beaver Rogers, please log in as yourself. And will the real Beaver please stand up?
Raise your hand, Beaver.
I'm dating myself on that one. You're all laughing.
Yeah, he could raise his hand.
There he is, his hands raised. There he is.
Okay, then the other ones need to go.
They need to sign out and come
They
back
need to
in.
sign out and sign
Log
back in as themselves, so we know who's attending the meeting.
We should be able to find the login on the town page, the agenda.
I just don't understand, and I don't want to proceed unless we really know who's here. I don't know why they wouldn't put their names.
Okay, so Beaver, we're gonna try and promote you and unmute you so that you can address the question about the menu.
So Beaver is there and promoted as a panelist, and he's able to speak.
Welcome. Beaver, are you able to speak?
Might take them a sec.
Okay. Oh, the whole login, log out thing.
Madam Chair, I don't see anybody else. Oh, somebody left.
Hello, welcome. Are you there now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, would you like to speak to the menu question?
I think it's significantly smaller than the past two people who were in here. And I'm going with on the breakfast menu with pre-cooked sausage and pre-cooked bacon to help eliminate some of the grease situation.
Great.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Can Beaver put on his camera, and can the other people?
I don't know. Are we able
just
to
sign
have
out?
one more camera on, Ray, or I think there's a limit to?
He has the ability to do that.
Okay, there he is.
Thank
Yep.
you. Good to see
In
you.
place, it looks like.
Yep. On site.
Excellent. Nice to see you. Thank you. Okay, so trying to do what you can to mitigate the grease on site, no fry
Correct.
later. Any other questions from the board for him?
Yeah, has the menu been submitted? No?
I believe I submitted it with
Ray says yes.
Yes? Oh,
Ms.
okay.
Lee.
Okay. Well, we'll have to, that's good. That's great that you're trying to mitigate the amount of grease.
Yep.
Okay, I'll let somebody else ask questions, but I really want to stop until we figure out who all the Beaver Rogers are. And I really wish people would sign in so that we can, know who you are, and you can ask questions. And I think that's just fair.
Most of them are gone now.
There's 2.
Okay, so
No, I'm-
at this point, are there any other questions from board members for any of our?
So I don't know if we were able to see the menu. I was curious. You're going to be serving lunch, right?
Yep. I'm concentrating on salads for lunch.
Okay. All right. That was my
I
question.
really don't want to kill myself. I want to have something easy and quick that I can throw together after I've done all the breakfast. Yep.
Just remember the salad dressings are oil and grease.
Yep.
What are the hours that you're going to be open?
6 to 2.
6 to 2.
And occupancy, what were the occupancy plans?
I have 38 seats existing, and the last tenant had a 50 seat maximum.
Okay, are you comfortable with a maximum number that might be set, like around 40 or?
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
I
Yeah.
had once, when we were talking, just one about the variance request. I think there should be something in there about the variance is non-transferable if we are to approve this variance. And also, I did notice, Jeff, on number 3, you know, what you were saying, Joanne, it is in there that if there's any malfunctions, they'll have to put in a new one and it will meet current plumbing codes. So I think Jeff addressed that in the variance request for number 3. So,
Yeah, go ahead. Who was that?
and I'd love to hear from Ray a little bit too on what she thinks about all this.
Yeah, Ray, would you like to share your
Sure.
thoughts?
Yeah, sure. So speaking certainly with the food inspector, our assistant director, and our health agent, we have gone over all the paperwork. He is just about to, Beaver Rogers is about to receive approval very shortly for the establishment. I know Megan has reviewed the menu. Lunch and breakfast items are listed. I know there's some equipment changes and things of that nature, which is typical. And, you know, we did supply some conditions, the same conditions that we put forth last meeting regarding the variance request. You know, we had put down in Title V inspection to be conducted annually. The grease trap pumping contract required to be supplied to the Board of Health monthly or quarterly, which I know Jeff and Mr. Yule have down. Grease trap pumping slips sent to the health agent, that's also down as one of the requests. External grease trap must be added when system fails, that is also here. Variance is non-transferable, it's something we'd like to be added. Violations of conditions will result in a hearing where a variance may be modified or revoked. And, you know, we did put in a consideration of paper products and install new internal grease trap if malfunction or failure, which we also, Jeff has put in. We did suggest putting in a locking 40 seats with the menu locked in. And with any requests, I know he has proposed pre-cooked sausage, bacon, and no fry later at this time.
So when we say locking menu, what would that mean?
So the menu that they have proposed right now is the menu that would stay. If we, you know, if it's something that is a grease-laden food, we would certainly encourage them to come in front of the health department. If you wanted to come in front of the board, that's certainly up to you. But the health department will be fine with us to certainly ask for any additional items. You know, we have lots of establishments to add all kinds of new items. But again, this would only be for grease-laden food.
Okay, so if they're changing the menu with additional grease-laden foods.
They were adding ice cream, scooping ice cream, something in that effect down the line. Or if he decided he wanted to put in a fry later, that's something that would need to come in front of the Board of Health again as part of the variance.
Okay. Joanne. and
Madam
then-
Chair, for the menu, I think I would suggest that, you know, if there was, you know, any changes to the menu to notify the health department, only because, again, the mention of salad sounds wonderful, but you can't forget that there are oils in the salad dressing. So, you know, there may be something that seems that it doesn't contain any grease or oils, but it may. So, you know, I think once the menu is
My
approved.
question is, how do we word that so that it's not like they have the ability to seasonally make changes to, you know, like, I don't want to tie it down in a way that is.
You have nothing else on your agenda but us saying, today we're going to add new muffins.
Here we have we have local zucchini. No, I understand. I'm just saying, you know, just to bring that to attention, that some things may sound, you know, that it doesn't apply, but they might. So I don't know how you want to word it, but I think it's a good idea to word it somehow. And yeah, you want to give them the ability to use local produce or whatever, you know, whatever,
Right,
but
we don't want to micromanage the menu. We just don't want a big
Couldn't you just say something like significant changes to the menu have to be brought in front of us?
Well, I don't even know that it has to be brought before the board. I think the
No,
staff.
to the health
The health
department.
department.
Yeah,
Health department.
yeah, just, you know, for a review. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
under the food code anyway. If somebody makes major renovations to the, or major changes to their menu, they have to notify the health department that they're doing it. Because
another
kitchens are
possibility.
sized and equipment is approved or disapproved based on menu. So, I mean, I guess it's under the food code anyway, but
Sure.
as part of the,
Just Stephanie had a quick possibility on that is you could always reserve the right in the conditions to review the menu. If you see anything that you think requires further review, just leave it to your board or the staff to do it and not necessarily say every time there's a new muffin, you've got to report it. I don't know how you'd ever.
Right. We don't want that. The department does not need that. Yeah, so I don't know if there's a Ray, what was the wording you had suggested there?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to Mr. Rogers that, you know, certainly too, you know, we have folks that bring in all kinds of items that they don't necessarily make there. For instance, maybe you want to bring in a whole line of muffins, but someone else makes it in another facility and you're just selling them. So there's lots of options. I want him to know that he doesn't have to just reach out to us about food items, but if he has questions or maybe some suggestions, we're happy to help with that. So I don't want him to feel like, oh, geez, you know, if I call.
They're
him
gonna give it
muffin.
to him.
Right.
I figured that a quick email on anything that I thought you might need to know would suffice until you get back to me and let me know whether or not I had to make any other arrangements with it. I don't expect anything major to change though.
Sure. Ray, what was the wording again that you had for that?
The wording for the menu it's in the federal food code and the Massachusetts state food code that.
Okay,
If
so it's
you're
the
making
same
any
as.
significant menu changes, you want to reach out to the health department, and certainly by email is fine.
So we've got the second beaver.
yeah, we have somebody in and two still on the participants.
But we
Ray,
should
can
move
you,
that second?
I don't know how they got promoted.
Paul has had his hand raised. Paul?
Yeah, thank you. I think I heard one of the conditions that if the system fails, that an external trap would be installed. Is it possible, Jeff, that the system could fail and have nothing at all to do with the grease situation, and maximum feasible compliance would be appropriate in terms of the repair or the upgrade or the replacement, and not necessarily trigger the need for the external trap?
No, I think the external grease trap question in a situation like that would be automatically included as a part of, because it is a part of Title V. So under maximum feasible compliance, whatever section of Title V applies to a particular system, that you're expected to, under maximum feasible compliance, comply with everything in the code if feasible. So it does not allow you to pick and choose what parts of Title V would apply.
But would it be more appropriate to say that if the system fails, that the system is brought to maximum feasible compliance, rather than a statement that says that absolutely positively there would be a external grease trap installed?
Correct. That's what my revision, and I was speaking to earlier. If it wasn't clear, my revision to item 4 was to say any upgrade due to a non-functioning system would be done in accordance with Title V's maximum feasible compliance.
Then our request would be that that's what the condition read, rather than, I think, what I heard Ray say.
Ray?
But the paperwork I have, from what Abby gave me, that's titled June 2nd, 2023, number 4 states, if at any time in the future said inspections indicate that the existing septic system is no longer functioning adequately, the design of the new system will include an external grease trap.
That's
Right.
the one that was changed that Jeff was talking about earlier, and he was going to submit it to you tonight, but he wanted to wait till after the discussion, because on second thought, that was tripping a problem that Paul's bringing up, which is the grease trap may have nothing to do with it, and to automatically require it, that shouldn't happen. It should be, it's automatically already in the review, and that should be sufficient, and the board has the authority to handle it as they see fit. I think, if I'm saying that right, Jeff.
Yes, that's what I'll go through it one more time. Hopefully this all makes sense. But the way I had worded it, I was overstepping what Title V would require in that situation. Like any system, if it fails, you upgrade under Section 400 in Title V, which is maximum feasible compliance. And that would include the tank, a pump chamber, a leach field, a grease trap, anything that pertains to a system at this particular site would have to be upgraded under that section. And I offered something that goes against that. So I wanted to reword it to make it comply and make more sense with Title V and the way it should be handled.
I think I'm okay with that, because I think that's what we've been sort of moving to as a board, is trying to make sure that we are putting things in Title V, things in specific with alignment with Title V, rather than having ours be varied from that.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to reinvent the wheel.
With our flow, Joanne, when we changed the flow to be in alignment with Title V rather
Finally.
than the additional and such.
Yeah. However, Title
Okay.
V, I mean, you have to bring it up to compliance for, to the time.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about a residential house, we're talking about a restaurant and a business that it requires the external grease trap. So
Right.
you'd have to come back
And we'd all have to review that.
and you'd have to, prove that it wasn't the grease and that the
Yeah, I think that they all seem to understand that.
Yeah, effectively what it says is at that particular time, you'll deal with it. You'll be discussing,
Compliance.
all over. There may be all new technologies. Maybe there's some sort of great internal grease trap, and maybe DEP recognizes that and changes that section. Who knows what the future holds, but wording it that way allows us to deal with it that way.
That makes sense.
So you'd word it such as, in compliance with current Title V,
Yeah,
current 310.
what I can do is,
Well, we need to have them here so that we can vote at some point. So I think it was written. Did you want to?
I'm going to send it to Ray right now.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
While he does that, I just wanted to, we've taken quite a bit of time, and I would like to get things moving. I didn't know if there were any participants who really felt strongly about speaking. If so, we'd like to provide you that opportunity. I'm going to allow a maximum of 10 minutes. It's 7:09. We'll go no later than 7:10, no later than 7:20. And I'd like you to recognize that while we understand the desire to, have this business and the benefit it is to the community, our role right now is to consider the variance. So if you had something to say to that, we're happy to hear from you, and to please keep your comments short so that people can speak. So if there's anybody who would like to speak, please raise your hand, right, Ray?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If not, we'll move on with making sure we've not locked down our our things and
So-
move forward.
There's 3 beavers on. I did, he's no longer on as a panelist. But the other folks that are on, I do not see a hand raised.
Okay.
And there are no questions in the chat
Okay, that's good, because we're not
or
supposed
the
to.
Q&A. Yep.
Okay. All right, so then we'll go ahead then and
I would like to make a motion so we
Okay,
can
Sue.
move forward here.
yes, thank you.
Yep, I would like to make a motion to approve the variance request with the conditions as listed in Jeff Hannaford's letter. But I want to add that the variance is non-transferable, and I also need to have that fourth one clarified, Jeff.
Do you have that updated
Otherwise-
language, Ray?
Yeah, with the
Was Ray-
updated language.
Ray, do you have it?
I am looking right now.
And was there one other? Okay, just that it was non-transferable. And, oh, and the
menu.
The menu and the seating. Can
Would you
we
like-
maybe use Ray's document?
Yeah, okay, 1 second. I'm looking up Jeff's email here. Okay, so
Comment
we,
for the-
go
Sorry,
ahead.
is there comments to the discussion on the motion that has been made here? Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, so we have Title V inspection conducted annually. I know that the applicant has inspection monthly for operators sent to the Board of Health, cleaned and emptied by a licensed company quarterly. They have an inspection and maintenance program for the septic system consisting of the entire system inspected semi-annually by a licensed septic hauler, the septic tank pumped annually by the licensed septic hauler. So we would not have an issue with number 2 or number 1. But I would say if number 2, that they would send that report to our office for both the semi-annual and the annual.
Okay, will you put that then in the, Chris?
I just want to be a little careful about Title V inspections. They're huge. They cover an awful lot of things that are way beyond the scope of what we're talking about tonight. And they're $650 a piece. So that in and of itself, it's not just a simple little checkbox. It really is expensive. And I think having the original condition of Jeff, which is people like Bobby Lacombe do the inspection, and then maybe every 5 years, a full-blown Title V inspection, we could live with that, and it wouldn't be so onerous. And I think you get the exact same result because it's the Bobby Lacombes of the world who know the ups and downs of these systems. They're there on a regular basis, and he knows exactly what's going on.
Okay, I think Ray said that she was okay with 2 as it was stated in the letter from.
Correct, as long as we can just add that they'll send the report. It's not just done, they won't work. on the
Okay,
results.
so are you comfortable adding that the reports will be to number 2, that the
And
reports will
number 2, so wait,
Mhm.
so say it again. So the
pumped annually by a licensed septic hauler and reports sent to the health department?
wait a minute.
Is that what
And
you're
by-
asking for,
Okay,
Ray?
and results sent to the health department. Okay,
So number 3, we don't have an issue with. It says if during and any above inspections appear the existing process malfunctioning, new internal grease trap meeting current plumbing code will be installed.
okay.
And then the updated
then-
floor.
What's the number 4 that we were updating?
Yeah, so number 4. Jeff has, if at any time in the future said inspections indicate that the existing septic system is no longer functioning adequately, the design of the new system will comply with Title V, CMR
minute.
15.4. Oh, sorry.
Wait a minute, will comply,
With
because I'm going to
Title
read it
V,
again with Title V. Okay, Yep.
CMR 15.400. Maximum feasible compliance. ETAL, including the possibility of an external grease trap.
okay.
We would also be adding a variant, this variance is non-transferable.
Without your
we-
approval, I think that means, right?
And then the seating requirement would be 40 seats.
And is this where we should add about the menu, or is that already?
Yep, so we would definitely want to add any,
Any significant changes to the menu?
yeah,
As stated in the food code would be
add it, would be sent to
health
the health
department.
department for prior approval.
The only other thing that you didn't mention was the violation.
The
Any violation
violation.
of conditions?
Mhm. The violation conditions will result in a hearing where a variance may be modified / revoked.
Okay, so we're at 7 conditions, is that right?
Mhm.
Okay,
And that's just the protection.
Yeah.
If something doesn't fall, they would just need to come in front of the board again.
Okay, now that we've had discussion, do we need to,
did I read it again, or are we okay with all of it?
you can read it again? Okay,
You want me to read it again?
Sure.
Please.
Okay, so I'm making a motion to approve the variance request with the following conditions. Number one, an inspection and maintenance program for the grease trap consisting of the following: inspection monthly by the business operator with reports sent to the Board of Health, no, to the Health Department. Cleaned and emptied by a licensed company quarterly. Number two, an inspection and maintenance program for the septic system consisting of the following: entire system inspected semi-annually by a licensed septic hauler, the septic tank pumped annually by a licensed septic hauler, and reports sent to the Health Department. Number three, if during any of the above inspections, it appears that the existing trap is malfunctioning, a new internal grease trap meeting current plumbing codes will be installed. Number four, if at any time in the future said inspections indicate that the existing septic system is no longer functioning adequately, all the language that Ray said, that I didn't write it completely down, in compliance with Title V, all. You want to repeat it, Ray? No, do we all get that? Okay. Number five, variance is non-transferable. Number six, seating requirements are 40 seats, and any significant changes to the menu need to be reported to the Health Department as stated in the health code. Is that what you had said, Stephanie? And finally, number seven, violation of the conditions will result in a hearing where variance may be modified or revoked. That's the motion.
So just point of clarification, number 6 was the seating and the menu. Should we not
Do you want to separate it? Okay, so number
Yeah.
6 can be seating requirements, and number 7, any significant changes to the menu as stated in the health code need to be reported to the Health Department, and then number 8 will be violation.
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
that's clearer, cleaner.
Okay, so that's
Thank
the
you.
motion.
There's the motion. Thank you, Sue. Is there a second? I will happily second
Yeah.
that.
Oh, all right, you beat me.
Okay. Sorry, Joanne. Okay. All in favor, Stephanie, I. Sue. Joanne
Aye.
and Megan.
Aye.
Okay, so the motion passes unanimously. Yay, we're happy for this.
Thank you very
Happy to
much.
have worked it out.
Thank you.
Delightful. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and efforts and your consideration.
Thank you for being here with us, and we look forward to this.
And thank you for sharing all the documents. That was very helpful.
That
Thank you
was very
much.
Good, good. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Okay, where did my agenda go? Sorry. I'm looking for the agenda again.
Oh, that's okay.
There it is. Okay. All right. So I think we're just to new business.
Yes, this new business day. First thing is clutter and hoarding training. So I just wanted to let you know that Nicole Lavliette, excuse me, I messed it up a little bit, who's our community health and wellness coordinator, her and I provided hoarding training to both our police department and our fire department. We just finished up with the fire department this week. So on all shift changes, 3 days each week for both departments. So it's a great opportunity for them to ask questions. We gave them a call down list. We also provided the national clutter image, which shows when they go into a building, when should you make a call to the health department. So I think it went really well. And so that's something that we'll try to provide each year as shift changes and things of that nature. And then the Narcan rescue kits. So we have assembled all those with the help of our intern. And so we have provided not only to the police department, but fire department, Narcan rescue kits for the public when they're out in the field. And so we are about to roll out our program for the public. We have provided the animal officer and some other entities here in the town for those kits. So we are required as a mass distributor to keep track of all our Narcan and lot numbers. So that is something that we'll be offering to the public. We also have Narcan training available for June 27th and 28th of this month for any resident or employee that would like to attend.
That's great. Is that up on the website then, I assume?
It is, and so we will make sure too that we reach out to the teachers for the fall, school nurses, and let them know if they want those trainings when the fall starts. Certainly, we understand they're about to go out on summer vacation. The other thing is the Red Cross blood drive. We have partnered with the Red Blood Cross, and that is the latest one. We had a couple this month, but it's June 18th from 9 to 2. So that was also in your packet, and it's in the public packet too, if anyone would like to attend. Budget employee COLA increases. I just wanted to let you know that that'll be coming out for August. We are looking and revising our budget for this year. We're waiting for that from our accounting department. So that'll be something that will be coming to you in August. Right now, we're looking at COLA increases for all the staff for July 1st and having the staff work on their personal and work goals. So if there's anything too that you'd like to see the department work on, we do put together our department goals and what we'd like to work on for the year with the health department. So if there's anything that you'd like to see as that as those goals, please feel free to pass that on. PFAS public forum. So I did reach out to the DEP, our water department, and a couple of well companies here in the community. And so we put together a PFAS public forum for the public. It will be virtual. So it's 6 to 8, June 22nd. It will be recorded. We'll make sure it goes out on WestfordCAT. You know, PFAS is pretty important and certainly a forever chemical that a lot of folks have concerns about, especially with their water. So for private drinking water wells, anyone can attend. The water department will go over a little bit about what they're doing here in the community for the public water supply. DEP will go over PFAS 101, what kind of chemicals, what are the EPA and mass state requirements for PFAS when it comes to drinking water. The health department will go over the health effects, the other products that PFAS is in, and what the health department, the guidance and education we can provide for private drinking water wells here. And lastly, we'll have a well company come in that we work with quite often, who will talk about remediation and what costs look like. And there'll be a Q&A section at the end. Yep.
Joanne?
Can you send out a reminder to me? Because I'll forget and I want to go.
Yeah, it's something we've been working on. It's been hard to get some of the state agencies to work after hours, and we certainly understand. And, you know, we wanted it to be in person, but because of that reason, they agreed to do it virtually. So we're taking what we can get, and this way too, we can record it and hopefully reach more people.
How are we getting that message out to the town?
So the flyer has just been completed today. So tomorrow that will go out on our social media page, our Facebook page, the town pages, the website, our health page, and then they have what's called news flash, and you can sign up and get that information.
Can we post it in the library? And
Yep, we'll certainly do that. We do provide it to WestfordCAT. I know we tried to get it in Westford Neighbors, but you kind of have to be like 2 months ahead to get it in that magazine that goes to everyone's home. So hopefully through word of mouth, we can get the information out.
great, thank you.
Certainly. And then again, I mentioned the Narcan training. So that is something that we have quite a few folks now that are certified to teach that training. So providing that. The last thing is the ARPA request.
So Ray, I just want to say how impressive it is what the health department is involved in right now. I mean, you're doing an incredible job, and all these different, even getting, when we got all the information from you, it's like, wow, look at this flyer and this flyer and this flyer. So good for you. Very impressive.
No,
And
thank
she's
you so
president
much.
of MHOA.
Ooh.
Well, no, thank you very much. But honestly, it's, we're fortunate to have these community health and wellness coordinators as well. And they've been great about putting on all kinds of additional programming. And for instance, one item, Gail, our public health nurse, is working on is a vision truck for employees. That's something that wouldn't go out on this document to the public, but there's lots of things happening in the background too, that they all work really hard on. So
Well, I'm thrilled that there's additional staff. I mean, so it's impressive.
so thank you. I'll pass it on to them. And then, yeah, for our ARPA request, I just wanted to bring to your attention. So I was on the select board meeting last week, they have approved $20,000 for PFAS water testing for folks that have private drinking water wells. At the time when we first put in the request, we did first come, first served. They have asked as a condition, which certainly makes sense, that we look at a grid of the community and try to spread out the testing. So we'd have to limit it in certain areas. It's for 50 households for $400 a test. And so we'd work with a local lab to arrange that. So I have reached out to the water department and also the director of public works to see how we can work together to set that up so that we divide the town equally where the private drinking water wells are. So more to come. I know we do have a waiting list. People have already been calling. So, you know, certainly people want to have their well test, but it is expensive and I understand. So that's that piece. The second piece of ARPA, we did have our $75,000 request in for community health assessment. Very thankful for the town manager who was very supportive. I know initially they had said no, but it turns that as the end of the meeting approached, they reconsidered with additional information. So that's something that I am working on and we'll give to the town manager to see if that's something.
Wait, can you
to
just,
clarify. Mhm.
can you just clarify a little bit more here, what exactly this entails? Sorry.
Sure. So, yeah, so we had the request in over a year ago. So we have certainly given lots and lots of information to the select board members on what a community health assessment is, a community improvement plan. We reduced the request from 200,000 to 75,000 using our current consultants. And so I think they just want a little more clarification. I think the accreditation piece gets a little overwhelming when it comes to the community health assessment portion. So we did reiterate that our police department here is accredited. You know, you certainly want to attend an accredited hospital, schools, things of that nature. And so we want to make sure that our standards are the highest. And, you know, so just kind of separating, you know, what the community health assessment means. And that I know their concern is they don't want to just see that data sit on the shelf. And I certainly understand that. And they want to know what we're going to do to make sure we're building our programming on that. So more to come.
But when you think about it, we have the Behavioral Health and Wellness Committee now. I mean, that, you know, that should give them some type of reassurance that something's going to be done with it, because there is already a formed committee to address.
Correct.
You know, even before we get any results. So.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we want to remember too that in order to qualify for future grants that are allowing many of these programs, we will need to be accredited.
Yeah, there are a lot of components that grants ask for today that we just don't, you know, we have a lot of data. Don't get me wrong, from a year ago, we have a lot more surveys and data that folks have put together for regional data, I should say, not specific to Westford. But due to the health equity piece, you know, we want to make sure people get access to healthcare in this community as well as others. You do need that data to apply for bigger and larger federal state grants, and we don't have it at this time. So my hope is, you know, I will have to attend another future meeting or two, and I'm waiting to see when that is. But yeah, we're excited. We do hope they approve the funding. That would be great.
Great, thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you.
If that is it, do we have Joanne?
Any update on the CDC study?
Or they're
Yeah,
not the
so-
CDC, the other,
Yep,
is it-
so the CDC Naheem study
Naheem, yeah.
is that survey. I just informed the police and fire, sorry, caught me off guard here. I just informed the town manager, police and fire again to just kind of let them know and dispatch the folks this week and next week are walking neighborhoods. And
Okay,
so if you see any strange folks, you know, with CDC, you know, there's no issues or, you know, infectious disease. It's this survey. So we're just trying to put the information out again. It's hard to get it out through all of our social media venues, but just
As long as they're not walking around in white moon suits. All I could see was was it Outbreak? What was it?
oh, yeah, yeah,
Got the Papas on and everything
Mm.
else.
yeah.
So press
Yeah.
day is July 10th. Gail and I were picked randomly as expert subjects, if I guess.
Did
is
you
what
put
they
my
call it.
name in? I told you to.
We
I didn't
did,
get called.
we did, we put in a whole list, and
Mm.
so, we have to be there at 8:30 in the morning as guinea pigs. No, we're very excited. No, we're very excited. This is really exciting, and it's a great opportunity
Yeah.
to be tested for so many
Oh.
different things, and then to be given the report, so we're looking forward to it.
And may it come back clean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Well, I was hoping, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Great.
That is the update, unless you had other questions. about the starlight.
Are,
then
just
we'll
one
go
more,
off
one
to
more
dinner.
question. Are we meeting in July or no?
Oh. That
That's
is a
up to
question.
you.
Ray, do you anticipate much on an agenda in July?
Right now, no.
Okay. Is
I
there?
say we don't have a meeting in July.
Because we'll be in Denver.
Correct.
Oh.
Yeah.
We will
that-
need to do it on a different day.
Yeah, that's the 10th. We leave for a week. We have the NATO conference in Denver.
Nice.
It's a
nice.
national conference that MHOA pays for us to go to, so no tax dollars,
So
Not
at this
meeting.
point, do we want to make a plan unless some unforeseen emergency arises to forego our July meeting?
Yes, please.
Do we need to have that as a motion?
You do
Oh.
not.
No.
There's
we
there's
don't.
a there's a
I don't-
question in the Q&A, by the way.
Oh, that's Beret, yeah. I don't think we need them. I mean, it just needs to be announced that they won't.
Okay,
be-
that we won't have a meeting, yeah, unless
I don't think so, all right?
they were to come up.
Right,
Okay.
correct. Yep, at this time, we don't have any specific requests for a
it
variance
would-
request.
And it'll have to be on a different date anyway, so
Okay.
Well, no, I mean, you
without you
could
and.
certainly
without
run it
Ray.
without me, but I don't know about you want to do it without Ray.
Uh, Okay, I'm making a motion to adjourn.
All right, motion made. Is there a second?
Second,
Motion made and seconded. All in favor. Stephanie, I, Megan.
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
I, Joanne.
Aye.
Okay.
Have fun in Colorado. I'm jealous. I've never been there.
Yeah.
That's
Me
fun.
neither.
A whole
Nice.
week. Wow. Wow. Enjoy.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Bye, guys.